everyone. My name is Danielle Slaton. I am a former defender for the U.S. Women's National Team, and I'm excited to get the chance to talk today with Midge Purce, who's currently playing in New Jersey for the Sky Blue FC of the NWSL. Midge, welcome. How you doing?
I'm well. Thanks for having me. How are you?
I am great. Are you in New Jersey, quarantine living right now? Where are you? Where are you coming from?
I'm at home with my dad and my dog right now, heading back soon to get back into training there. So I'm excited.
Awesome. Well, let's tell folks a little bit about you. You got your first cap with the national team back in November against Costa Rica. And that same month, you began your campaign for the Harvard Board of Overseers, which is the university's highest democratically elected governing body. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. You graduated from Harvard.
Second highest.
Yeah, you graduated from Harvard 3 years ago, 2017. Certainly made your mark in the college level on the soccer field. All-American honors, two-time Ivy League Player of the Year, general badass, and now you're looking to continue to make an impact beyond the field, hopefully landing a spot on that Board of Overseers. So can you first start off by telling us what the Board of Overseers is and a little bit about why you wanted to run?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, you had it right originally. It is the highest democratically elected board. It's of the top two boards at the school, that and the corporation. And back in 2019, I began with what was to become Harvard Forward, running for the board via the petition process, which was a really strenuous and tumultuous experience. But getting on the ballot was really exciting. And now, running for the actual board, which is going to be, voting closes on August 18th, which I'm really excited about. But I got into it because I genuinely just have this, I had a really great experience at Harvard. It was a really positive experience, and I want to make sure that future students have an even better experience than I did, and the least amount of unnecessary challenges as possible, because there's always opportunity for improvement. So I really got into it because I wanted to serve my fellow alumni, the students, and Harvard as a whole, so that it can operate more effectively and efficiently. And if you looked at the board right now, there's just no one that represents my entire generation, and I can bring that perspective. I know what it's like to go to Harvard in these days, these times, and I know what it's like to graduate from Harvard in these times. And I think that understanding that experience is crucial for effective governance. And I'm the only one offering that that connection and that understanding. So I felt that it was really important to get on this ballot and provide that connection on the board.
So you'll know in a few weeks if you are in this spot.
Yeah.
How many people are on the board?
30, and 6 will be elected this year, and it's a 6-year term.
And then how many young people, how many women, and how many Blacks are on the board, if you have a sense of that at all?
There's a number of women. I'm pretty sure there's about 3 or 4 Black women, and young people. There are not really any young people, which is I'm running on this platform of inclusive governance, with an agenda that promotes, having a connection to the students and the recent alumni, making sure that they understand what's going on, that their voices are heard and represented, and all the decisions that are going in to the board's agenda. So there needs to be some more young people if there's 30.
Definitely, I get that. What are some of the lessons that you've learned so far throughout this campaign as you've tried to make your way on this board?
Goodness, I think through this campaign, I've learned a lot about, what it's like running a campaign, the questions that people want to know when you're trying to represent them and serve them, and how important it is to actually connect with people on something surpassed like an email, like it's important to actually speak with individuals and understand their experiences and where they're coming from, in the context of the positions that they hold, because it gives you so much more insight into how different decisions affect others that you can't understand unless you are actually speaking with others.
Yeah, I think feels like today in this climate now more than ever, connection, empathy, and those kind of skills are sorely needed. And it's also kind of learning that through this process and helping us all be better about it. What would you say that how has soccer helped you to take this next step and to learn these lessons and to become a leader? What has the game given you that has propelled you forward?
I mean, football has been invaluable in, like, it's just life lessons in general, and especially in its leadership lessons. I'm a strong believer that you need to follow before you can lead, and I think that football has taught me how to follow. It's taught me how to listen, and more importantly, it's taught me about serving others. You know, it showed me multiple times firsthand that, you know, if you're going to lead, if you're going to serve others, you have to put your ego aside and your personal issues aside, and it becomes all about serving everyone around you, so that collectively, like your team, we can all get to this really, really great place. And then you look back on that place that you got to, hopefully, and you build upon it. So, I mean, I think my experience on the field has just helped me undeniably in so many ways.
So who did you follow first? You said you had to follow first. Who were some of the people that you learned from?
Yeah. So I would say Shannon Sorofsky, or Shannon Higgins. She was my club coach. I mean, she's a complete baller if anyone knows anything about like old school USWNT. And she's one of the, yeah, Higgs they call her. And she was really just that prototype of what it means to actually lead a team. One of the best coaches I've ever had, and she was crucial in my soccer development as well. So I would put her up there.
That's so funny. So she coached me the first year there was ever an under 18 women's national team.
No way.
She was her coach. Yeah. Okay. So I want to keep talking, but I want to try this kind of fun little activity. So because it's kind of inspired. It's kind of a little bit of warm up activity, but it'll hopefully get people to like know us a little bit better. So the way it goes is I'm going to start a sentence. If you really knew me, and then fill in the blank. Ooh. And you can kind of follow my lead. You can do the same thing. You can kind of take it in whatever direction you want, but we'll try it just for a minute. So if you really knew me, you would know that my first national team cap was in 1999, 20 years before yours. It was in Florida against Finland, and it was a closed door match, which means there was not a single fan in the stand.
Wow.
Okay, so you go. If you really knew me, and you can finish that sentence however you want.
It doesn't have to be soccer related.
It doesn't have to be soccer related.
Ooh, yours was so good. Okay. If you really knew me, you would know that even though everything says I'm from Olney, I'm not, and it bothers me. I'm from Silver Spring.
Silver Springs, Maryland.
Yes.
Hey, that's a good fun fact. We'll have to get that changed. Okay, I'll do one more. If you really knew me, you would know that my full name is Danielle Victoria Slaton, and I was named after my great-grandma.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you really, I'm just going to copy you. If you really knew me, you'd know that my full name is Margaret Melinda Purce, and people call me Midge because I was very small when I was really little, and that's where the name came from.
Oh, that's okay. See, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay, let's talk about NWSL. Because the NWSL Challenge Cup just finished. Sky Blue, your team, made it all the way to the semifinals. What was the experience like living in the bubble, kind of being the first league back to play in the United States and having a really successful tournament? What was that like for you?
Yeah, I think everyone who's at the bubble takes a lot of pride in being the first team back and the first team to successfully complete the tournament without one case. I just, off the bat, I just like have to talk about the essential workers who were there, because they were so incredible and they were indispensable to the success of the tournament. I mean, like they made things flow and made it so much easier than it could have been. So even just like they had all the pieces covered. And Roussel and Lisa Baer, they did a phenomenal job. And I've learned personally that when your GM is Elise, it's really hard for things not to go smoothly. So logistically, it was a great tournament. Yeah, I mean, we broke records for views. We broke records of fans watching internationally. And to me, I look at that and I'm like, finally, you know, I mean, there's this ambiguity about how people actually value our game and whether or not people find it entertaining. And it was really great to have, you know, data and proof that, you know, when we are made available, people watch.
Yeah.
So that was really great.
It was fun. It was fun to watch it for sure. I was on my couch with my popcorn watching y'all, so it was great. I've also heard that you've been really active in trying to create an NWSL Black Players Coalition. How did that come about? Where does that stand currently?
Yeah. Okay. So it came about in the middle of the tournament. Teams were really fragmented regarding racial issues. And that's not a secret. It was very apparent if you watched the tournament and you saw how disjointed we were almost on every team. And I think that, you know, people don't realize, like, you know, they don't think about us when the game's over, but this all continued behind the scenes. Teams are very fragmented and disjointed. And we were just having conversations within our teams and across teams, and it was exhausting. But I personally found it was very concerning. You know, I usually, when I argue with people or I have disagreements, I'm arguing a position. And we just disagree about it, or we disagree about the right way to resolve a problem. But what I found was that I was having arguments about facts, just like the validity of just truths. And that's a problem, because, you know, argument, dispute, debate, those are wonderful things. You know, those are central to any free democracy. But when we're in a place that facts don't matter, and where the value of truth is so weak that even people in our government consider truth to be whatever they can convince others to believe, that's not okay. Yeah. So I and the other Black women in our league, we decided to take official steps to fighting what we know is true. And to fight against systemic racism, to progress the accessibility of football to young Black women, to address, you know, the indoctrinated history that, you know, is obvious, and a lot of other things that I'm excited that we're doing. So that's kind of how that came about.
Awesome. So we're going to have to talk afterward, because maybe we need the old Black players with the Black Players Coalition.
Absolutely.
We'll take it to a whole new level. What advice, kind of along those lines, would you have for other athletes who are looking Black, not, you know, of all ethnicities, men, women, but what advice would you have to players who are looking to really find their voice and to figure out what they care about and make change, whether it's on the field or off the field?
Yeah, I love this question, because I feel like there's this popular notion that if you're an athlete, you should not speak on politics or any other topic that is unrelated to sports. And I remember every time I hear something like that, I just think it's so unreasonable, and it makes no sense at all, because by that logic, you know, you have no merit to speak on anything not directly related to your profession. And what you do for a living doesn't discredit, like, your views on other things. So, I mean, like, this is democracy, like, that's the whole point, like, no matter what, like, you have a say. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I just encourage anyone, like, if you want to speak out, speak out. I mean, look at Pino. She has an HBO series. Like, you may discover your own brilliance and catch a bag in the process. So
yeah. So along those lines, like, what do you think it is that maybe holds people back from speaking out? Is it internal, external? How do people find their voice and really use their platform and have a leadership moment to start to make change? What's holding us from moving forward, Midge?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's more often than not external. I think that we live in a day and age where you express any sentiment and you have someone criticizing something about it. I once said, vote, nothing else, just vote. And some people took issue with it because they aligned a bunch of assumptions with it, and I didn't really realize how you could misconstrue vote. There's like so many elections just in general. So I mean, I just say, like, while you'll have pushback, while you have criticism warranted or unwarranted, I mean, I understand that reluctance to, you know, open yourself up to that and become vulnerable in that way. And, you know, that's not for everyone, but if it is, like it doesn't matter. Like, if you're passionate about something, you have to go for it. You have to do it. I mean, and I think if you're an athlete, you kind of already have an introduction to it. I mean, you put yourself out there when you play, and, you know, I can't tell you how many times after I've had a game, I'm like tagged in tweets, like negative and positive. So, you know, it's, people are going to talk, they're going to say whatever they want. So you just have to do whatever you want.
I do think that one of the gifts that football and soccer gives us is that you get used to being uncomfortable, right? There's so many circumstances where, whether it's from fitness at training to being in a hostile environment on the road, like, you start to learn to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and controlling what you can control and getting rid of the rest. And those are important skills, I think, that leaders have. And it's awesome that we've gotten to learn that through the game.
For sure, 100%.
So, okay, so we're going to play my game a little bit for 2 more questions, and then we're going to get out of here. If you really knew me, you would know that one of the coolest places I've ever gotten to play was for the women's national team, and it was in Norway. And we were so far in the Arctic Circle that we played the game in the middle of the night without lights.
Without lights? So
that was kind of a cool memory, like playing at midnight with no lights. That's one of the coolest, most interesting places I've gotten to play soccer. So you go.
Wow. I can't even fathom without lights. Oh, if you really knew me, you'd know that one of, like, the things that I tell myself whenever we have night games, and Frenchie actually told me this one time when I was like 15, and it like stuck with me ever since, is that everyone runs faster under the lights. And I love it. It just like hypes me up like so much. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, you're faster under the lights. That's true. So our conversation, in the vein of the She Believes movement, and U.S. Soccer She Believes movement is about inspiring the next generation of players and young people. And so if you really knew me, you would know that the 2 people I wanted to be like when I was growing up were Jackie Joyner-Kersee and Ronnie Lott. Those were my 2 inspirations. What were yours?
Wow. Okay.
This
is the easy one. If you really knew me, you would know that my favorite person in the entire world, and it's not close, and the only person who like I've ever like really wanted to be like is my dad.
Why?
I just think he's Superman. Like he is a single father with my brother and myself, and like he just was the one, like all the soccer trips, driving me like every weekend, just us. You know, knew nothing about soccer, but would stand in goal for hours for me, and just like, yeah, I'm obsessed.
Awesome. I want to meet him one day. Hopefully after quarantine living, we'll be able to get back in person, and
yeah,
I would love to meet your father. That's awesome. Well, he certainly did something right with you, and we are all wishing you the best of luck in your campaign for the Board of Overseers at Harvard. And girl, I look forward to taking a back seat in whatever car you're driving. Lead the way, I will follow, and I know there will be a ton of people right behind me. Thank you so much for your time, Midge. Really
Thank
wishing you the best.
you.